2 of those touchdowns came from who?
No. Xavier Worthy. I'm gonna say Isaiah Pacheco, but he only had one.
So let's kind of get into this game of a recap. I'm going to give you play-by-play of everything that happened. No,
Yo, hey,
I can talk really fast.
I live tweeted the game.
Yes,
I typed out every single play, and the guys didn't know I was doing it, and I texted them that I was doing it, and then Josiah went behind me and liked every single one of those tweets, and it was constant notification.
You got notified for every single one?
I got notified for every single one. My phone was
That's how you know we're not
up.
big.
Yeah.
Is that you still have notifications on for every single
Right,
like.
right,
That's how you know that we're
It's
not.
like, a follower? Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I don't want to look at my followers. They're all bots. Like legit. I have 93 followers on Twitter, all organically bots.
they probably they must all play Fortnite.
The fork knife? What's that?
Fortnite.
Fork knife.
Yeah,
That's
bots.
a Fortnite.
Oh,
reference.
bots.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
the a lot of bots.
Hopefully
Something
that
the
plays
kids
to
play.
some of the audience.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll know what Fortnite is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we're going to capture
It
that
said.
crowd.
It said. It
They're
said our
talking Fortnite.
crowd-
Yay!
It did say our crowd, like most of our audience, is 55 to 75.
Nice.
Fortnite players.
Yeah, so it's got to be Fortnite players, right?
Oh yeah, straight
okay,
bots.
Cool.
All right, so we'll come the quarterback comparison. You had Lamar Jackson who went 26-41, 273 and a touchdown, which we only got 1 sack. But man, the dude
That was a sack though.
the dude. Oh yeah,
Who was it?
that was
Stone
Cold Chris Jones, and it was a strip sack. So
Yeah, it was.
and we recovered.
I didn't know he could
by,
do that on the field.
Yeah, recovered by FAU. So I didn't even know he was allowed in the room. So
Right. FAU, who we were trashing all preseason.
Yeah.
Like coming up with a fumble recovery.
Yep.
Good on you, man.
So and then Lamar Jackson also had 16 carries for 122 yards. I tell you,
But I tell you who didn't have a good amount of yards?
who is
Derrick Henry.
The King Henry did not. He had a touchdown, which in that
First
possession
drive.
that they had. Yeah, they moved it well, and I know it kind of looked probably a little scary to some of us, but they didn't really get into until the third quarter. They really didn't get. Well, I guess it was fourth quarter where they really didn't get back into the red zone.
Yep.
So for 3 quarters after that, the Chiefs kind of stepped up.
Yeah.
So
And they had to convert 3 very long third downs.
Yes, they did.
Well, I guess 2 very long third downs, and then 1 shorter one in order to keep the drive going.
In which Justice Hill got a lot more snaps than Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And some of that. In cases you saw Derrick Henry on the sideline, and you're like, why aren't this man in the game? But
Right.
I guess they got some stuff to figure out there. One thing we do know is that, man, I'm so glad the NFL is
Rigged?
eyeing that too, eyeing more linemen other than Juwan Taylor coming in this year. So
I'm telling you,
the
man.
linemen
Yo,
for
and
Baltimore Ravens got
Stanley.
They just couldn't
Robbie
get right.
Stanley, I
They
think it is.
couldn't get right. At one point, Harbaugh said, "Tell him to move up." You can see his lips on the camera. He's like, "Just tell him to move up." It's just as simple as that.
Well, the problem is linemen don't look to the side for a lineman.
No.
So he's like the referee, and they did warn him before they called the first penalty.
They did. Yep.
They did warn him before they called the first penalty. And if you think about where Juwan Taylor come from,
Jacksonville.
oh, he came from Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, from Jacksonville.
He came from Jacksonville.
Yeah, which is
I was thinking Orlando Brown.
Well,
I don't know why.
they are,
But
they are a city in Baltimore. So, but yeah, so we had that, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
that's crazy.
Patrick Mahomes went 20 for 28,
Yep.
291, 1
Yep.
touchdown, and 1 interception.
Yep.
He did have 2 sacks, but only for 10 yards. Somewhere
Nothing crazy.
kind of almost got close back to the line of scrimmage, got sacked.
Right.
So he had a good day there. He did have that interception towards latter part in the second quarter, which I think he had said he should just went to. I think he said Kelsey on the outside.
Yep.
But I mean, it happened.
Yep.
We're gonna move on forward. And then Pacheco, 15 carries, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. I would say we kind of talked about this in the this kind of leading up to the season about being better in the red zone, and we kind of got stagnant a little bit there for sure in the second quarter.
I do think we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with penalties in the red zone.
Yeah, we did.
Travis Kelce had a hold that would have been a first down, I believe, in the red zone, and it got called back.
He also had that drop pass.
He did have that drop pass, and then right after that, Juju had that drop touchdown.
Yeah,
that drop. But that's a hard catch.
Oh
man.
yeah, and he almost had
his
it.
elbows hit the ground first,
and then
which is,
the ball up.
I mean, like good on Juju to get his hands on the ball. Period, because he was covered.
Yeah, he was.
And then we had the Samaje Perine pass out that. I think that's just a miscue because he hasn't been there long.
Yeah.
We had the ball that would have gone probably for a touchdown to Pacheco.
Yeah.
That it hit both of his hands. Mahomes put some heat on that.
Yeah, he did put some heat on that.
But at the same time,
and
Pacheco
and he had a guy coming in, about to come into his face. So
I mean, those are just week one woes. You know what I mean? So if we can figure out the red zone thing, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We can't go. What was it? 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Yeah. Well, and we had 2 field goals in the second quarter, but we did have a touchdown in the first, third, and the fourth. So, and 2 of those touchdowns came from who?
No, Xavier Worthy. I want to say Isaiah Pacheco, but he only had 1. Well, I was just looking. I saw 2 touchdowns: Isaiah Pacheco and Xavier Worthy. 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown.
He was so excited to
Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy had 2 touchdowns. Yo, that first touchdown though, 21-yard reverse handoff from Mahomes. When he turned upfield, it looked like everybody was walking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The camera was moving so fast to keep up. Everybody took like 1 or 2 steps by the time Xavier Worthy got from the left side of the screen to the right side.
It literally looked like when I walked to the refrigerator. Like that's how fast I moved.
Did you have like a hand in your?
No, I just moved that fast. I'm just
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you moved that fast to the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about everybody else looked slow, and that's what you do walking to the refrigerator.
Yeah, absolutely. So
his first time getting the ball in a game.
Yeah,
and it's a touchdown.
And if you remember, here's the thing: in the preseason game against the Lions, we ran the same play, but to the left side.
Yep.
With Worthy, and he kind of, after he got the first time, he kind of fumbled, and he got back on it, and he told Matt Nagy and said, the next time we run that play, I believe he's going to go for a touchdown.
Yep.
And then we ran it in this game
the opposite way,
and he ran it for a touchdown.
Well, so I think it's hilarious because a lot of people are complaining about offensive linemen being downfield for that. Guys, okay, I need you guys to know something. I need people watching to know something. When you
let them know.
Run a handoff or like just a general run play, linemen can be downfield.
They can move.
Before the running back gets the ball, it's a run play.
Yep, they can move to every
running play.
The only mistake that would have happened is if Mahomes didn't give Worthy the ball and went to pass the ball.
Right.
That's when they can throw the penalties.
Right.
But until that is the what's going to happen, they can run downfield and get to every level.
They can run downfield, then run back within a yard of the line of scrimmage, and then Patrick Mahomes passes the ball. Guess what? That's legal because they're not downfield when the ball was passed.
Yes, we do have lawyers.
Yeah.
So,
anyways,
yeah. So
also before we move on, like going back to the Juwan Taylor and Robbie Stanley thing, a lineman is allowed to move their back leg in a 2-point stance before the ball is snapped, as long as they don't move forward to move back or their back leg touches the ground before the ball is snapped. So they can move that back leg before the ball is snapped, and as long as that foot does not touch the ground before the ball is snapped, it's a legal play. I looked it up. I did some research, guys.
That's right.
I did some research. You got to know.
He put on this.
You got to know. So what Juwan Taylor does every snap is legal until his foot touches the ground before the ball is snapped, or if he leans forward to go backwards.
Yep.
As long as it's straight back and that leg doesn't touch the ground, legal. Legal. Yep. That's why Robbie Stanley does it. Robbie Stanley was doing the same thing for Baltimore the entire game.
Robbie Stanley doesn't. Ronnie Stanley does it.
Is it Ronnie Stanley?
It's Ronnie. Yeah.
I'm going to call him Robbie because I ain't got no respect for the Ravens. I got no respect for the Ravens.
That's the nickname.
I don't like the Ravens.
They went to college together. It's his nickname.
They went to college together like 72 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone.
Well, he has been in the league a minute.
Yeah.
So
Xavier Worthy had another touchdown pass, which we all love to see. There was some broken coverage there, but still, he was wide open. So,
I mean, it was
he had
a
2 touchdowns on the day, baby.
It was. Sorry, he just made the defender look silly there.
Yeah, that's what it was. They looked silly.
He looked silly.
And then the other guy who just tore it up was Rashee Rice.
They ran
7 receptions, 103 yards. Yeah,
same play.
He had 9 targets. And here's the thing, this is what we have been believing. What we're going to see within the offense, just of like the middle of the field where it was his playground.
Yep.
It was just his playground. There was one play that, he had it was kind of middle hash or left side hash, the kind of big play that he had. We had Noah Gray and we had Travis Kelce behind on the line, and they broke out to the right, which a lot of the defenders were watching. And here you go, Rashee Rice just found this opening.
He came across, and then he looped back out after he caught the ball for a big gain. Yeah.
So he had a fantastic game.
Fantastic.
And again, I think we're even going to see when he comes back some of Hollywood kind of playing some of that middle as well. Mm-hmm. So, and I just think this is kind of the Chiefs offense in a nutshell that we're probably going to begin to see, where we see these certain players step up at key moments. But, every week I feel like for the most part, every week may be a new standout player that has, big moments in that game. Now, receiving room, we probably will see more targets go to Rice and then more targets go to Kelce. Mm-hmm. But you see, Worthy had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Rashee Rice didn't have any.
Yep.
But, he still got his target share, but these other guys stepped up and made some plays. So that was lovely. And then, obviously, Isaiah Likely for the Ravens had a huge game, which, man.
By a toe.
Yeah, by a toe. If he had, half of a size,
If he would have wore, I don't know what size shoe he wears, but if he wore a 14 instead of a 15, 14 and a half instead of a 15.
Yeah.
He's.
which, you saw Harbaugh, we're going for 2, we're going for 2. So
they
that
tried
was
to get that play off before
there.
they could review it, but the last couple of minutes they're gonna pause the game.
Oh yeah,
the clock is stopped. They're not gonna rush anything.
And because even if they would have called a touchdown, every touchdown is reviewed.
Yeah.
So it
I'm just saying
it happened, and it was so funny because Lamar Jackson, at the podium after, he's like, that was a touchdown.
I still think it's a touchdown.
And it's like, bro,
it's not.
These people have the camera, they're looking at it, zooming in, and you can see the man's shoe.
Right. Well, and I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, but if you hit one of the 2 wide open receivers in the 2 plays before that,
and what's funny is
that wouldn't have been a problem.
And here's the thing. I don't know. This is just people in denial. So, you have the play where, who was it? Zay Flowers was going, the opposite way, and he threw the ball this far over. You know what he said?
It was going to Rashad Bateman?
No, it was it Aguilar or Bateman?
It was Bateman. Bateman was in the middle.
One of that. He said, I was throwing it to him. It's like, that man was not even around where you threw the ball. What do you mean?
Rashad Bateman was the second closest guy to it, but he was 6 yards in front of he was at the front of the end zone.
Yeah. I don't get it. But
why are you throwing it to a guy that's not in the end zone?
I don't know.
It's just
just some of the stuff they said, just like, man, just give it up.
Give it up, man.
But yeah.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, with that being said, defensively, again, that first series looked a little shaky, but they picked it up. We did see some
Leo Chenal.
Leo Chenal had a great game with 2 huge batted passes. Mm-hmm. Oh, we forgot to talk. Patrick Mahomes with a catch. Ooh.
He got his own catch.
Yep. Which was huge because that could have been a huge turning point at that point in the game.
Yep.
Because I think that would have been picked off.
Yep.
One of those guys would have caught that ball.
And Pat, he went up
that's
for
why
it.
he said he went to go get it instead of not or batting it because it was just so risky that could have went into someone else's hands.
Which was a great play by the guy in the middle, 23, I think it was. I don't know who that is.
For
Baltimore. that came and batted the pass because it would have been a first down.
Yeah.
If he didn't bat it down, it would have been a first down. But
yeah, so again, our defense or some of those, they looked a little tired. You can tell, like Nick Bolton. I mean, he was.
They were
There's a couple plays you could say he was gassed.
Chris Jones said after the game that when he was at his stool to leave below because he was tired.
I mean, even on that last play, we didn't really get pressure. They kind of ran. It was just like both linemen were just like engaged, and it was just like nobody was moving.
Everybody was on their knee that last drive during the timeout. Yeah, everybody was on their knee taking water. Yeah. George Kittle had his helmet off. George Kittle. Oh my God, George Karlaftis.
It's okay.
Just George K.
Yeah,
that's fine. Oh man,
GK.
Hiya, Georgie. Yeah. So George Karlaftis. Jeez, man. Honestly, if George Kittle turned into a defensive end, he might do pretty well.
Yeah, it may be bad.
Anyways, George Karlaftis said while he was at his locker, he didn't want to talk to anybody too. George Karlaftis never does that.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, I'm tired. I don't want to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure those guys were gassed, but they stepped up big. Jalen Watson, who led he led the defense and tackles, and I think he is. He is the number 2 corner, which he played a well game. He did have that penalty, but they were offsetting, so we're good there.
Well, and so
he outsnapped Joshua Williams.
Yep.
As well, so I think Jalen Watson, like I said, he's my guy to step up and be the other side.
So my key play of the game was Jalen Watson. I think it was the second drive after the first penalty. I think it was the same drive. He had the penalty that on Zay Flowers that canceled out penalties.
Oh yeah,
and then later in that drive, he was guarding Zay Flowers. And then he just did a 360, like he was in a dryer spin, and just swatted the ball.
Oh,
and that's my key play. We needed that guy to show up big, and he showed up in that moment.
My key play, and then we're gonna move on here from the recap of the game. My key play was Trent McDuffie. Yeah. So on this play, it's 4th down, right? It's 4th down. And for the most part, I'm sure in Lamar Jackson's eyes, it looked like we may have this play because Zay Flowers took a page out of Tyreek Hill's book. I don't know if you see some of them where Tyreek Hill will basically squat behind a lineman almost and look pretty hidden. Tyreek Hill is only 5'10". Zay Flowers is right there or shorter maybe. But he
looks short next to Jalen Watson.
5'9".
5'9", yeah. So he squatted in a stance behind the lineman, and you can tell that I think it was maybe Reed kind of look as if I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they couldn't figure out where he was. You saw the defensive backs for the Chiefs just kind of scrambling around.
Right.
In the picture that showed behind Lamar Jackson.
Right.
You saw everybody kind of scrambling I don't know who to cover. Oh, cover over here, cover over here. Because they only counted 10 guys, and you look at I couldn't see him.
Right, and so he breaks out, veers to the right. They throw him the ball, and McDuffie comes up with a huge hit,
which I think is a lot of credit to Leo Chenal.
Yeah,
because he came in and forced him out.
Yeah,
further out.
Yeah, as he came up.
Yep.
And got pressure. So with that, Trent McDuffie was able to step up, and he made a great tackle to one, although he got contact, to not let him get by. So I think that was my huge highlight. That was huge momentum part there, and that was just a huge play. And that's why, Trent McDuffie is that guy, man. He is a spectacular player. So that was my highlight of the game. And
let's go.
Yep, we got the first win on the season, the first dub. Is in the bag, things settled, and for the most part, we looked well. You know what I mean?
For first game
even
of the
considering season, something, even like our defense, which a lot of players that because of injuries and stuff, didn't do a lot of full pad reps and play in preseason. Even though we saw them getting tired. They still was just, after giving up that first drive, was still able to manage a lot of the game, which, 3 points in the second quarter, none in the third.
Yep.
And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, Baltimore was coming back there. But
which, you kind of expect a little bit. I wasn't worried at all until that last drive.
Yeah. Baltimore's, listen, Baltimore's a tough team.
Yeah,
they're a good team.
Well, they're going to wear you down, right?
Oh yeah.
Fourth quarter is where they're going to shine because Lamar Jackson's just going to run you down.
Yep, and then adding Derrick Henry in the mix, which probably most games he may be in there a little more.
Yeah,
it's huge. So, great game. We got Cincinnati Bengals coming up.
Let's go.
Do you guys want to comment on the Spagnuolo timeout at all?
Oh yeah. So briefly within that controversial call, and there was a lot of people really, really upset about it and everything. But when you look at it and you blow up the picture and what did happen, which people, of course, they only see what they want to see,
right,
and maybe what they only saw. But you had Andy Reid, who was calling a timeout.
Yep.
He just wasn't moving in one direction or the other, but he's calling timeout.
Yep.
They didn't see it, and Spags started running because after it happened, that's why you saw him smiling, and he was pointing.
Well, so it wasn't the referee that he ran to. It wasn't the side judge that called it. It was the back judge.
Yep.
Who called it? Who saw Andy Reid calling the timeout? So he didn't see Steve Spagnuolo doing it. He saw Andy Reid doing it. I feel like Spagnuolo like running down the sideline is what drew his attention that way.
Yeah, well, even the ref, he kind of turned, but you still never seen him make the call. Although knowing
he
that
looks back, and then that's when he waves and he calls because he saw the back judge call it.
That was yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand. Yes, it is illegal for a coach outside of the head coach to call the timeout. But Spags was like, they're not seeing Reid, so Spags just jets and but again, the back judge called it, which had view of Andy Reid to give the timeout.
I feel like head coach, then while on defensive coordinator, while on offensive coordinator, those three people should be able to call timeout along with the players on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it would just make sense, right? The head coach is going to kind of chill towards the middle of the field most of the times. The coordinators are going to be kind of pushed towards the end that they're at.
Well, in which for defense, the Mike linebacker can call it, and on offense, the quarterback. So it's like, those guys who call the plays in maybe have a shot at that too.
Right. Well, I mean, and they're like, oh, well, how do we know which linebacker? It was the same thing with like you having to know which linebacker is able to call it.
Right.
Same way you know which coach on the side is able to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would allow for more flexibility on the coaching staff for the head coach to coach how he wants to.
Especially when you have Andy Reid who cannot move down the sideline.
Right. Like you can have a head coach that chooses to allow his coordinators to call timeouts, or you could have a coaching staff that's like, no, only the head coach. But that would give them flexibility to do that. Yeah.
So,
hey, a little something they can add to the game.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's that. That's the game. Cincinnati Bengals is up next. And of course, they're 0-1, and Cincy normally starts off pretty rough.
Joe Burrow is 1-4 or 1-5 in September. So,
and it looked like T. Higgins is to be out.
Start the season. Yeah.
There's some speculation.
T. Higgins, forgot about T. Higgins.
There's some speculation that Hollywood could be back. I don't think so, but who knows? But we
with how we played last week, let him rest, man.
Joe Burrow has a record of 6-7-1 in the month of September.
So first games of the year.
Oh,
first season. Yeah, he's only won one game to start a season in his career. So
there we got that of the Chiefs game, and then what we're looking forward to. We got the Cincinnati Bengals coming up.
Yep.